right, y'all. If I was I'll go with Q. Q, if I was to open up your Spotify, your Apple Music, top 3 songs, bands, playlists, whatever you listen. What are you listening to right now?
I listen to Cover the Earth by Carrie Joe.
Okay.
Here I Surrender.
That's a good one.
And Gone by Elevation.
Come on. Who else?
I listen to Boys Around Here by Blake Shelton, Tremble, and Peace Be Still.
Blake Shelton. Who else is your favorite like country artist? Who you into?
Brantley Gilbert.
Oh, have you been to his concert?
Yes.
Have you
at
really?
The fair,
At the
yeah.
fair. Let's go. Let's go. Who else? Who else?
I'm listening right now to the new Elevation Worship at Midnight EP. It's really good.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Kyra.
The song that I've been listening to like nonstop lately is Brown Skin Girl by Beyonce. It just has a really good message and makes me feel good. It's,
Ooh, Beyonce.
yes.
Come on. The queen of pop. She's killing it.
She's doing big things.
Doing big things. She's doing big things. Tell me.
For me, mine is less, spiritually inclined as the rest of you. I don't know. I've been listening to The Fray, Neon Trees, and Imagine Dragons.
Wow, is the Fray still making music? Like really?
I don't
like
think so.
No, you just you listen to the old stuff.
Yeah.
That's legit. I used to listen to them in like middle school. They were good.
Probably not 3 favorite songs, but 3 favorite like bands or artists. It's definitely Dan and Shay.
Okay.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of them. Probably also Elevation. I listen to a lot of Elevation. And then the Lumineers.
Lumineers. All right, let's change gears. If you were to tell me about your favorite like TikTok video right now, like the favorite one that you like watched. You're already shaking your head no, because you're not on the TikTok train. I can tell. But tell me about TikTok. What are you looking at? What do you see? What's funny?
I don't have a TikTok account.
Oh man, me neither. It's all good. It's all good. We're in this together.
I've never
Core
watched a
value.
TikTok video.
Never. Wow.
Probably one. But yeah.
Sounds like a contradiction. But anyway, I don't even know what my favorite one is. There's so many, like they're so dumb, but they're just really addicting. I don't know.
Have you seen like the horn blowing challenge thing?
No.
Like no, you've never seen that?
Uh-uh.
Wow, I just blew that one. I was watching it the other day, and we'll just have some natural conversation. But the guy was mowing his yard, and his friend was driving down the road, and his friend didn't see him coming up, so he came up behind him in the car on the lawnmower, and he just lays on the horn. The dude falls off of his lawnmower, and his lawnmower just drives away while he's just laughing in the video. So it was pretty funny. Anybody else TikTok?
No, I don't really have
Wow.
social media, so I wouldn't know.
Just too new for you guys.
Yeah.
I like TikTok.
I love TikTok.
Okay, I was about to say, I'm like, somebody's got to be, somebody's, yeah? Tell
I
me.
was just watching it today. There's the funny ones that are on there. There's this one guy, he makes the really dramatic, funny ones where it was the hand sanitizer, and it was the 1%, the 0.10% or 0.09% of germs left, because it was hand sanitizer going and killing everybody, and he's like, no. But all of it are really funny. I can't. Bisco Girl too.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Bisco Girl.
I like
That one was funny.
the ones where they're locked in.
That's what I was gonna say.
So somebody's telling me about Visco Girls. Is this like a new language, right? Like they have new language, they have everything, right?
They basically, I feel like a lot of people think disco girls are girls that follow the trends or wear certain things, say
Yeah.
certain things.
They wear Crocs.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
scrunchies, have the water
Scrunchies,
bottles.
right?
Yeah.
What else like Visco Girls like?
Shell necklace,
Hydro
yeah.
Flask.
They say
That's like the language, right? That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, their secret code.
Right. I should try that on a Sunday morning and see if anybody understands. Would that be good?
yes,
Yeah.
we'll start clapping.
You go Visco on them? There's got to be something else besides Crocs. What else is the other shoe that they wear?
Birkenstocks.
Birks, yeah. Do they have to be real Birks, or they have to be they can't be
I'm a
Ferks?
Bisco Girl.
I'm a disco girl.
No Birkenstocks.
Everything.
Everything. You got
literally have
scrunchy in.
everything.
You have a scrunchy in right now. The shark watch. She's in.
I wear the messy buns.
Waterproof to 100 meters.
Yeah.
Yep. Bitch, you are good.
Worn out. I wear them so much. So,
You have the dark spot on your toes.
Yeah.
From how
Yeah.
Yep, that's how gross they are. I mean, how worn in they are. Awesome. Thanksgiving's right around the corner. Can you believe it's almost Thanksgiving? What's your favorite side? If you you got turkey. How about this? Is it turkey or ham? What do you guys on?
Ham.
Ham?
Turkey.
Ham. Turkey.
It's turkey and gravy.
Turkey and gravy all the way.
Stuffing.
What about sides? What's your favorite side? Like if you had to choose one side, and then there was no other side, but you could have that one side.
Mashed potatoes.
Okay.
Broccoli salad.
Oh, cold or warm?
Cold.
Cold broccoli salad.
I like the sweet potato mash stuff with the marshmallows.
So good. So your marshmallow on the top, that's acceptable.
It's the only way.
Oh yeah. Well, you can do like brown sugar or
It's
like.
good either way, but I always love the sweet potato.
Sweet potatoes.
He's like, looked at me like, yeah.
You looked at me. So I was like,
We think
Me, I'm going mac and cheese.
mac and cheese all the way.
Hey,
That's a solid.
Yeah.
That's a solid. Bad part about mac and cheese at families is family stuff is like it's cold fast, right? Like it's like everything else stays warm. Mac and cheese is kind of this. Just thinking about this. Like I know that you guys, all of you guys, like love house parties. You're at house parties all the time. But I would love to know, why do you love like United Church as a whole? Like, and don't suck up because I'm sitting here, right? So like, but like, what makes you look forward to Sunday mornings? Like, what is exciting for you guys about being a part of something like this? I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on that.
Definitely the worship.
Yeah.
The worship is like really awesome. And just like the welcoming like feel that you get, like you don't feel like you're being judged for like dressing a certain way or like overall looking a certain way, and just you feel welcomed by like everybody there, whether it's serving or the people that go there.
So good.
And of course your messages are just
Come on.
Yeah. I feel like it's a place where you can come like no matter what type of week you've had, good or bad, and like you can just like he said, meet with a welcoming family. And I'm on the kids team now, and it's just like being in a group somewhere where I know other people care about me, and like you always say, being in something bigger than yourself. I
So
enjoy
good.
it.
It's so good.
For me, it's just like my source of joy. Like throughout my week, it can like I feel like I don't fit in school. So like going to church is like that moment where I can connect with my true friend, like my true family. Like my church family is my family. And like if it wasn't for like Sunday, like where would I be? Like where would I be doing if I didn't go to church? So like that kind of comforts me. Like I'm surrounding myself with life-giving people, and it's like shaping me into becoming a
Love
better
it.
person.
I love that. Love that. Whoever wants to bounce in,
So-
bounce in.
Like I look forward to Sunday mornings. Like I could be like sitting in school, like doing work, and I'll just be like, I can't wait till Sunday's here.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah. So especially like worship and then your messages. Like I feel like you and like all the other pastors have a way of like making stuff like more like comfortable and
That's awesome.
get it down to different levels and all that. So it helps out a lot.
Yeah, I love coming to church because it just feels like, I don't want to be cheesy, but it really does feel like home. Like it's such a good feeling, it's such a good place. And like even though I go to school at Dover High, like it feels so different when I come to United, and it just feels like, I don't even know how to describe it. It just feels good. Like you come in, everyone's happy, everyone's excited to be there, and like you feel welcome no matter what. I always feel like I belong there, and like it's crazy because I I didn't want to like United when I first came, but it's impossible not to because it's just such a good, like everyone is so nice, everyone wants to be there, everyone is there because they feel like they want to. Like it's fun. Like it's weird like to say that, but I just always have fun at United, and I
That's
always
awesome.
love it.
Anybody else?
It's just a life-giving community. I like how they encompass like the children. So like when you're there, it's not like you're being like judged by the adults, and like they're not like pressuring you to be a certain way.
Let's go. That's awesome. What's it like serving? Like I know a couple of you mentioned serving, but like all of you guys serve on a regular basis. Like what is that? Like what does that bring to your life? And like to know that like, man, when I come, I'm not just like taking, I'm giving back to this. Like what's that like for y'all?
I love it. I think it's awesome that we get to have life-giving community within our church, and even meeting outside for small groups and stuff like that. And I think it's such a good opportunity that, you know, I am able to watch those kids and love on those kids and teach them Jesus on their level.
That's amazing. What is what age group do you?
Toddlers.
Toddlers. Let's go.
I love it.
Let's go. That's awesome. What about who else? Hop in. Just hop in. Yeah.
So with students too, like I love like how we like pass out the cards and have house party. So like my favorite thing is like passing a student the card and getting their name, and then seeing them there Sunday night
Come on.
and talking to them and hanging out with them.
Like bridges the gap right there.
Yeah,
It's
so
boom.
and seeing them like actually worship and step into it, it's really like
That's so good.
It's really cool because like the atmosphere of it, like when you're there, because I almost immediately jumped into serving when I first came to United 2 years ago. I just absolutely love the atmosphere, and I love like the life-giving community that everybody had, like towards like whether you were VIP or like whether you were or you've been there for like a couple months. Just like it makes you want to like be a part of that, like give back to them and make others like that are maybe VIPs or there like feel that like comfort and life-giving community as well.
Serving for me like has helped me grow and like develop my social skills, and like with dealing like with social anxiety, you know have that struggle of talking to somebody, but like everything is just so relaxed, and it's just like it's not just a number, or like everybody has a name, everybody has a story, and it's like especially the students team, just seeing like other students and like you're seen, you're home here.
Right.
You might not feel safe out there, but you're safe here. So
Seeing people
It's-
find that safe place, like the
Yeah,
place where they can call
definitely.
home. That's so good. How old is everybody? Just kind of like go around. I'd love to just to know. Like,
16,
14.
17.
17.
17.
17.
let's go. So what's it like being 17? What's it like being 14? What's it like being, your guys' age, like following Jesus in your school, like in your life? Like, tell me, like, what's that like?
It's like amazing, really. And sometimes it can be hard because you're younger and sometimes you feel like you don't understand and stuff. But I feel like it's amazing because you're like a leader for those other younger people inside your generation and throughout your school.
How many would you say it's like a challenge? Like it's tough. It's like man, it's a grind. Like I mean, somebody speak to that, because I know that I know how it was. I mean, I'm 33 now, so I'm old. But I remember I went to public school. Like I get it. Like I understand the back and forth. Like I would be in church, and then I would be in youth group and trying to live this thing out, figure this thing out. Like what's that like for y'all?
It's really like difficult because there's like when people say like they don't believe in God, it's really hard to like tell them why they should or how or tell them why you do without them asking you a lot of questions that you may not know the answer to.
Right.
So I don't know, it's really difficult in that sense.
Yeah, man, I
Yeah.
can resonate with that.
I've experienced that as well. Like, I mean, a lot of times people are like, oh, you're Christian, whatever. But then sometimes people are like, oh, why do you go to church? Why do you spend so much time there? Why are you always like talking about God and everything? And like, it can be hard when you're like, cause like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain it. Like, I mean, obviously I believe in God, but then they ask me like, why? Like, how do you know he's real? This kind of that, this kind of thing. So it's like, it's hard in that sense. Everyone wants to be accepted. So it's hard when people are not accepting you because of your beliefs. So, yeah.
Definitely.
It's definitely challenging for me. Like, it's obviously amazing to be a Christian at my age because you can try to bring other people that are my age or younger to Christ and get them to like kind of get on that path. But also it can be challenging because especially like say you're maybe in like a Christian relationship and you're young and like you're figuring everything out and what it like takes to be in a Christian relationship, and you go to a public school and like you'll have like people sometimes mock you, and it's just like it's hard sometimes because it's like you don't want to be like that outsider or whatever, but at the same time it could be challenging and hard to be consistent like in your faith when you have so much people around you like bashing you and stuff just
Right.
for something that you believe in.
Right. Yeah.
For me, for like school, I never like fit in with everybody. I was always known as a Christian girl, the innocent little girl that so it was always like they would tease me like, oh, like you should pray for that person, or like they'd kind of like be teasing.
Yeah.
So like growing up like Christian and going to public school, I never fit in. Like I didn't feel like I was like fitting in a lot, like because I didn't do what everybody else did.
Right.
And like I was fine with that because I never had like that desire to go do like what everybody else is doing, but remind myself constantly like I don't need everybody's like approval because I already got
Come on.
God's.
That's what I'm talking about. That's so good. Kind of like going like with that last question, like why do you feel like it's worth it? Like why? I know that we're talking about like Evan, you're talking about like you people coming at you or feeling like people are like attacking you, and like some of y'all have felt that pressure, you know, whatever the pressure is that you felt at CR, or whatever the pressure you felt at Dover High or Smyrna, like you're feeling this pressure that's coming in on you. Why do you feel like it's still worth it? Like you could just do what everybody else does. You could just like go down the road that everybody else is going down. Like, but why? Why be different? Why like go against the grain?
I actually got asked basically the same question the other day when I was in school. So basically, I just feel like he did it for us. Why can't we just do it for him?
Come on, man.
Like, he laid down his life. We should do what we can to help his kingdom, build it up. And I feel like if I'm Christian, I don't have to follow everybody else. I can be myself. And I feel like I get into the Bible more when I'm not following other people. I want to do my own thing, and it just helps.
So good.
I've always grown up in like a Christian family. We've always gone to church, but I never really like understood like the Bible. I didn't understand like my parents. I just always knew that that was like kind of what we needed to do until I came to United, and then I went to camp, and then I saw like everyone just worshiping and getting all excited and pumped, and I was like, what's going on here?
Come on.
And then I came back the second time, even though I was like really shy and I didn't know many people, and then I had more friends that time, and I just experienced like a life-giving experience, and I'm like been forever changed from that.
Man, that's amazing. I know Ignite must mean a lot to you. That's obviously struck a nerve. Tell me about Ignite while we're there.
We always are with our friends. We do many team competitions, but we all just kind of get together and love on God. We talk about where we're from, our past, and I feel like it's just a secure space where you can feel like not judged, and you can trust everyone around you just to open up and be you.
That's like what I go back to all the time. I'm like, I look at my life and I think about, even from my perspective, like where I could be, like what I would have missed out on, like if I would have given up on Jesus. Like I would have missed out on Sherry. I would have missed out on like the college experience that I had, and I would have missed out on, you know, student ministry. I would have missed out on like starting this church. And I just like all of that just makes any sacrifice worth it. That like I could have missed that if I would have just said, not said yes to Jesus and just decided to do my own things. Just like grateful is like when you talk about that, it's like that's all I can think about is just how grateful I am that pushing through and how worth it is. So good.
And a good thing is like someone was talking to me the other day about what I was saying too. So I was saying like how he died for us, and they were like, he died for all of us. I was like, not just all of us. It's like he died for me, you. He died for all of us.
Yeah.
He knows all of us. He knows what we need. He knows our path. He got us, and that's it right there. That's the key.
So good. So some of you guys, some of you guys are athletes. Some of you guys are musicians. Some of you got, you know, academics going on like in your life. Like, where do you feel like God is using that platform? Like, I think that, you know, one of the things that's so amazing to understand in life is that like the platform that God gives us is not for our glory, it's for His, right? And so like when you think about that with the giftings that God has given you, whatever that is, and it's all across the map around the table, but like how are you guys leaning into that? Tell me a little bit about like what how He's using you when it comes to those giftings and the talents that He's given you.
So I played basketball, and I still do, but I felt like I was like pulled away from it more. And like the other day, I walked into like a school, and I saw my old teammates, and they were like, "You don't play basketball, and you got away from it. What happened?" And I told them like I felt like I was called more to like an instrument, basically. So now I play guitar on stage, and I just feel like it's not about me, it's about who I'm helping. That one part of the music could be the one part that changes someone's life, and I want to be there to do that.
That's amazing. How do you guys feel like again, like I said, it's all across the map, and God's given you guys gifts, I know. How do you feel like you're using that to glorify Him?
For me, I do photography at my school, and people always call me like camera girl or photo girl, and they're always like, come
There
get
she
a
is
picture of me.
again.
Yeah. And they're always like, oh, you're always shooting, you're always here. Are you at every game? The answer is always yes. Like as much as possible, I'll be there. And I learned those skills from United. So I went through the United creative internship twice, and those skills have been transferring into my school. And I always tell them, like, I'm always like, I learned this through United. I put it on my resumes. I put it, whenever I talk about picture stuff, I'm always like, this is where I got my skills from. This is where I got my experience from. And like, if I didn't have like United, I wouldn't have those skills. And then I always like, you know, twist it back around. So people are like, oh, wow, you're so good, da da da. Like, you're good at editing, da da da. The creative team just taught me everything that I know. And like, it's one of my greatest passions, and I love doing it. And I learned it all here, so.
Anybody else want to hop in on that?
Nothing is as fulfilling and purposeful as when I do student ministry or ministry in general.
So good.
I just felt like this sense of such purpose and like just like assurance of this is what I'm gonna do. Like, this is what I have to do, because it's like to glorify God, but like I just like this is why I'm on earth. Like
That's
this
so
is
good.
my calling. So because of United, I was able to find my calling for the
so
kingdom. So.
I literally heard somebody talking about that the other day, and they were talking about the sense of like so many of us, we try to find that like we feel like that one day, and some people have that where it's like the one day where they feel like, man, their purpose is unlocked, and we even like pastors, I do a bad job of this sometimes where it's like I feel like I preach that. It's like when you find your purpose, everything else is like the door's just gonna open up and like everything's gonna be clear and you never have another question again. And you could probably relate to this. It's just not true, right? Like it's great that you find your purpose, but like one thing that's been so like a revelation to me lately is purpose is something it's ongoing. Like you're finding your purpose, you're finding your passions, and every step you take. I think that was one of the things that I thought when I was in high school, especially. I remember this is I remember thinking, if I take one wrong step, like God is gonna like smite me down, like He's gonna like kill me. You know what I mean? Like I had this angry view of who God was, and it was like, you know, over the time of like developing a relationship with Him, I realized that it's not like one step. He just loves me. Like He doesn't love what I do. He loves me, and He loves you, and it's the same idea. Is like so even if you know you're around the table, you don't feel like you have found your purpose yet. Like I would encourage you guys, like just keep one day at a time, just keep walking. And even when you do feel like you discover that grand purpose, like there's still gonna be moments of clarity, step by step by step. So just keep walking. So it's worth it. We've already talked about that, but it's so worth it. Y'all are sassy, but you got some depth. You know what I'm saying? So I've been asking a bunch of questions, and y'all had some incredible answers. But I know that there's probably some questions that you guys have. So who wants to jump in with some questions? Who's got some questions for me?
I do. So sometimes it can be hard to like stay consistent with reading the Bible or praying or like reading a devotional every day or every other day or whatever. What's like some advice or things that we can do on days like maybe that we don't have motivation or whatever to maybe read?
That's so good. I feel like one of the things that I think about all the time, and this is what some people say is like, I don't have the time. I can't find the time. And most of the time what I say to that is like, you know, I just encourage people to make the time. So like, that's usually the first step is like making it a priority. It's like, hey, I'm not gonna try to find 10 minutes here, or I'm not gonna try to find like 15 minutes here to read and pray. Like I'm gonna make the time. I'm gonna wake up like 15 minutes earlier and make that time. And honestly, there's days where like, I'll just be honest, I mean, I'm a pastor. There's days I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to read. I don't feel like praying. Like I just want to be by myself. Like there's days like, can we just be real, right? Yeah. Like there's days like that. And but I'll think about it this way: is there's days I don't want to go to the gym either, right? But I love what the results of going to the gym do. And so I know that there's days that I don't want to get into the Word, but I know what it's gonna do to me. Like I know that it's going to make me stronger. It's gonna make me better. It's gonna make me closer to Jesus. And so I would just encourage you, man, like as you have those feelings, just kind of like fight those things and say, listen, I may not feel like it right now, but I know what the results of me getting in the Word are gonna be, and I wanna be closer to Jesus. I know that the temptation's coming strong, but me getting in the Word is gonna help me fight that much stronger. So hopefully that's helpful.
So like in the Bible, we know that it says that God's never gonna leave us or forsake us, but in those moments of our anxiety, and it's the only thing that we can hear, how do we just truly stay true to that? And when we feel alone, what do we do?
Yeah. One of the things that when I think about the idea of like anxiety, first of all, it's real. Like it's not like some imaginary thing that we need to pray away, or that we need to like, it's a real struggle. So I get that. But there's also times in our life, I feel like, where we base so much on our feelings, right? Like we're like, man, I'm feeling this, and I'm an pretty emotional person, so I'm a feeler, but there's sometimes when you have to right size your feelings with facts. And scripture says that he'll never leave us or forsake us. And so we've got to make the decision, like when we feel alone and we're like, God, I feel like you've abandoned me. We've got to make the decision to say and think to ourselves. And when the enemy tries to back you into a corner and make you feel alone, is you've got to say, man, no, the God of the universe told me, the one who opened his mouth and spoke all of this into existence, he told me that I'm not alone. So enemy, you can get out of here, because I know I'm not alone, because he made that promise. And we talk about all the time at church that he's not just a promise maker, he's a promise keeper. And so when you feel those feelings, you got to fight those feelings with facts. And when you come at feelings with facts, sometimes it just flips it around. You're able to see it so much more clearly. So.
With all the distractions that we have as teens, like, how can I continue to live a life for God?
Man, I feel like it never shifts though. Like, I feel like it's just different distractions. Right, different seasons of life bring different distractions. So like right now for you guys, it's like homework and school and balancing a job if you have a job, and athletics if you have athletics, and everything else that goes on top of all this stuff. And then you go to college and it's exams and finals, and it's trying to balance that second, third, first job or second job or third job, however many student loans you want. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just being real. But it's one of those things where I feel like the distractions are always going to be there, and we just got to fight through those distractions, no matter what season of life we find ourselves in, and just say, I'm going to go after God. I'm going to first of all, we're going to preset our priorities. And he's gonna be first, no matter what season I'm in, no matter if homework's here, no matter if, and I'm not saying be dumb, right? I'm not saying don't do your homework, because you're still gonna get a zero. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't pray a zero away, right? But I'm saying preset your priorities, where it's like, man, God's first, and everything else is gonna come after that. And as you flow, as your life flows and things come, it'll make it so much easier to just, as those priorities are preset, it'll make it so much easier just to flow out of that understanding. So, awesome.
In relationships or dating, how do we keep like God at the center of our relationship, and like even in those times of like temptation, how do we keep that as like our motivation? Yeah,
I mean, the temptation's real, right? Like I don't care if you're like been following Jesus for ever, you know what I mean? Like if you've been doing this thing for a long time, the temptation's real. And man, I would just encourage you to like think about it this way. And this was, I wish somebody would have set it up for me when I was in high school, right? I wish somebody would have said, what is the story that you want to tell your future wife? Or, ladies, what is the story that you want to tell your future husband? And I mean, the encouragement for me is like, God forgives, God restores, like he gives second, third, fourth, 500th chances. Like that's the God that we serve, is a graceful God. But I wish somebody would have just said, hey, Kenneth, I wish you would just think about like, what story do you want to look across? Like if I would have been able to known Sherry's name at the time, and somebody would have said to me, like, what do you want to tell Sherry? Like when you meet her, like, what do you want to tell her? And I feel like that would have like really changed the game for me of how I treated girlfriends, and how I, pursued relationships, and how I texted people. And if they would have been, Snapchat back then, how I snapped people back then, the messages like that I sent to them and social media. Back in my day, you know what I'm saying? I'm old, but no social media, but like back on MySpace, y'all, you know what I'm saying? Anybody know what I'm talking about back in the day, and the instant messenger, anybody? Nobody. Yeah, exactly. It would have changed the way I treated that, because if somebody would just said, think about like the look on her face and the feelings that she would have, and that's I don't know if there's like a more spiritual way I could set that up other than just like trying to help you feel that, so that's kind of my encouragement. Go for it, girl.
You always talk about having it's good to have a balance of friends that are Christian and not Christian. So how do you bring your non-Christian friends more to Jesus without being so pushy?
Man, I think that's one of the things with balancing that is you want to be the greatest like appetizing thing for them, like in the sense of like you want them to see you and to say, man, I want more of whatever she's got. Like I want to love people like she loves people. I want to face the day like she faces the day. I want to treat people like she treats people. I want to honor my teachers like she honors. And as you begin to do that, it's not even like, hey, you need to get saved. Hey, you need Jesus. Like beating them over the head with the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to do any of that. It's more like out of the overflow of who you are. Like people are going to start watching and go like, man, something's different about her. And like whatever that is, that's what I want. And then when they start asking those questions, that's when you're like, man, let me tell you about Jesus. Like he changed my life. Let me tell you about my church, because it's a place where I can go and experience like life-giving community. And so that's kind of my encouragement would just be, it's more actions than it is words. I mean, there's going to come a time where words matter, right? Where it's not just actions. They're going to start asking questions, and you don't have to have every answer. You don't have to. But what I would tell them is like when they ask you a question you don't know the answer to, is just say, hey, I don't know right now, but I'm going to find out. Like I'm going to talk to somebody who does. And because it's better to tell them that than to try to manufacture something and they're like, yeah, that's dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I would just be open and honest with them about that and just continue to make them want to know more of who Jesus is by the actions that you live out. You're up.
Speaking on the topic of friends, like, you know, we have friends and we like, you know, talk to them. How much of an effect do like our friends have on us long term?
So if you would ask me this when I was in high school, I would have been like, man, I'm going to be friends with like every single person I go to high school with. Like we're boys, like, you know what I mean? It's like ride or die. You know, like we're in this together. And it was one of those things that I thought people were lying to me. They're like, man, you're not going to talk to anybody when you graduate high school. I'm like, yeah, right. You don't know my friends. Like we're best friends. And actually, I mean, I went to college with one of my best friends from high school, and we were roommates my freshman year, and it was like literally the worst decision that we ever made. And like we don't even talk to this day. And there's 0 people that I talk to from high school, like literally like 0. I don't text. I'm not like, we're not going and hanging out, not doing like family trips together. So, you know, thinking about that now, like at 33, if I would have known that at like 17, I probably made different decisions with those friends because I thought I was gonna be with them forever. I thought I was building, like I was pouring a lot of emotion into those people. And I wish I would have known now that they weren't even gonna be in my life. Not that I would have just abandoned them and written them off, but I would have treated those relationships a lot differently and held them a lot more loose in my hands than I did when I was in high school. Man, I just wanted to just thank you guys for, seriously, it's been awesome hanging out. I don't get a lot of time to hang out with you guys and to answer questions or ask questions, but seriously, it's amazing. I told you you're sassy, but you got some depth, like for real. Like it's a lot of fun to hear like what God is doing in United Students, and to hear that like it's real. Like it's not just something that we talk about. It's not just house parties and groups. Like it's real life change. So I appreciate you guys and know that it is everything you said about it being worth it. It really is. Because I can tell you on this side of it that what you're doing, the path that you're taking, is the most fulfilling path that you can take. And the enemy would want you to think otherwise, but you're taking the most fulfilling path, the best path. And so keep doing what you're doing.